Hello, this is Janet Pritchard from the University of Guelph Humber, and this is a quick tutorial on how to access journal articles through PubMed and also how to access them after logging into HealthEvidenceorg. The first step is to go to University of Guelph's website. Second step is to go to the library, and we want to log in through the off-campus login. And so I've already actually logged in, so it's just jumped right to this page. But you'll be prompted to enter your username and password. And then type in PubMed in the search box. And select the first option. Okay, so now we're logged into PubMed with our University of Guelph login. We have access to all of the journals that the University of Guelph subscribes to. And we know that we're logged in because it says live.uofguelph.ca in the URL. I've actually created a bookmark for myself because I access PubMed quite often, so you might want to do the same. And the way that you do that is just by going through the steps that we've gone through so far, and then you'll go up to your bar up here and hit bookmarks and add bookmark. Okay, so let's just open up another browser, and we're going to go to HealthEvidence.org, and we're going to want to search HealthEvidence.org. So let's just say I'm looking for interventions to help with smoking cessation. So as you can see, there are a number of results that have come up, so 347 results. These are all systematic reviews and meta-analyses that target smoking cessation in some manner. So what you're going to want to do is get together with your group and choose a topic that's of interest to you within this topic of smoking cessation or whatever topic you were assigned to. And then you just click on one of the papers. So I've already actually looked at this one, so we'll explore this further. So this is an internet-based intervention for smoking cessation. It's actually a Cochrane database review. And so I wanted to just show you what this actually looks like. So that's why I chose this type of review, because you may come across them as well. So if you clicked on PubMed link out at this point, you won't actually be able to access the Cochrane review. So just copy and paste the title back to PubMed, and rather than typing in the title or pasting the title in this search box, let's use the single citation matcher because we actually will get fewer results with this tool. So you can see that there are 4 results. If the title was more specific, then we would only have a couple of results, 1 or 2. Most times when you type in the title of the article into the title box, you will only get that 1 article. But because the title for this particular paper is quite general, you can see that there are other papers that use the words internet-based smoking cessation intervention in the title. So let's choose this one here. And you can access the journal article just by clicking that icon. Some journal articles, for some reason or another, won't have this icon up here. It might be because the University of Guelph does not subscribe to that journal, or it could be hidden. So actually, if you click on the journal name here, and if you go to NLM catalog, you'll see whether or not the University of Guelph subscribes by looking at the electronic link and seeing whether or not live.uofguelph.ca is embedded in the link. So I'm just going to jump back. So you can try that if you don't see the icon up here. But because we see the icon, I'll just access it that way. So the Cochrane review is a very high quality type of evidence. You can see that there are different sizes of publications within the Cochrane review. We have a summary, a standard size publication, and the full publication. So for this purpose, I'm just going to access the standard publication. And I know that this paper is about 70 pages. I've already looked at it. So the first step is taking a look at the abstract and giving it a quick review just to see whether or not this article actually fits the purposes of the assignment and is of interest to you as well. So the objectives of this review was to determine the effectiveness of an internet-based intervention for smoking cessation. It's quite broad. They don't actually talk about using this on a particular population. So in the guidelines for the assignment, you'll see that I've actually asked you to go in further and actually pull out one of the papers within a meta-analysis to describe the population that it could be applied for. So this is a perfect example of when I might need to do that. If you find a meta-analysis that specifies that it only included papers for a particular population, then you can go ahead and just use the meta-analysis, and you don't need to go further and describe one of the papers. If you have any questions about that, let me know. So I already know that the results are on about page 70. Rather than scrolling through and making you dizzy, I'll just jump right there. So I'm just going to move down here. I'm looking for that forest plot that we talked about in class. So here we can see the forest plot. This is different than the one that we looked at in class because you can see that when the confidence interval and the estimated odds ratio are greater than 1, that actually favors the internet intervention. Whereas, on the other hand, if it's less than 1, it actually favors the control. So that's a little bit different than what we chatted about in class. However, we can still get some good results from this forest plot. So this is a forest plot of just 2 studies, and they're actually conducted by the same author, which we see quite often. So you can see that there was a 2-fold increase in the effectiveness of smoking cessation when people actually use this internet intervention. So the likelihood of smoking cessation was 2 times higher for people who use the internet intervention. Because I'm going to want to go into one of these articles a little bit more closely, I'm just going to jump to the references section. And I believe that's on page 29. And I'm going to look for the paper by Bren Dryan in 2008. Well, actually, I think it's page 20. Okay. So, as I said, they've published twice, so I'm just going to try to pull the first paper. So, Bren Dryan, 2008, and I also like to make note of the initial, so it's the initial is H, and the journal, it's the Journal of Medical Internet Research. So, to pull this, I'm going to go back up to PubMed, and go to Single Citation Matcher again. Oopsies, wrong field. Okay, so once you actually see the author's last name and their initial, then you can just type in the name and the initial, or select that, and then type in the date or the year. You could type in some more information if it's a very common last name, like Smith. But this is kind of a unique last name, so I don't think that we need to include any more information. So let's search now and see if we can find that paper we were looking for. So you can see it's actually the first hit, and it is the paper from the Journal of Medical Internet Research. So we can click that there. And then we can go on to access the full text a little further by clicking one of these icons. I just want to show you one more thing before we finish. If I actually were to type in the author's name without actually using the selection that they provide, so if I just typed in Bren Dryan, H, and then searched, you'll find that you actually get no results. And this is because the search tool is quite finicky, so PubMed actually wants you to choose the author's name from the drop-down box. So that's what I would suggest you do. So I hope this has been helpful. If you have any other questions, please let me know.